Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's look is going to be a high-end versus drugstore look. We'll be using high-end and drugstore products in this video and comparing them side by side to show you how you can get a look that's very similar using drugstore products. Okay, so first things first, this is going to be my high-end side, and this is going to be my drugstore side. We're gonna take our primer. I'm just using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Primer on the one side. It's gonna be really weird doing just one side of my face, but you know, it's all good. And I'm just gonna rub that into the skin. And on the other side, I'm going to be using the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I love this stuff. It literally just hydrates your skin and makes your skin look so nice. I don't find that I get like oily at all with it, even though it does have a little bit of reflect in it. And usually that kind of stuff makes me look real oily real quick. All of these products that I am going to be showing, half of them I got for like half price at Ulta. I have an idea in mind where I can show you guys how to get those kind of deals. Usually it's during their 21 days of beauty, or sometimes they just have hot buys that are constantly going on, or if you go onto the sell side of the site, you can find some really awesome products for half price, like all the Naked palettes, any of the not the first three, well, even the first one. I got the first one for half off. But any of their, like, the Naked Heat, Naked Cherry, all that stuff, they almost always go half price once they start to discontinue them. So yeah, you kind of have to wait a while, but I find that it's worth the wait sometimes because you don't want to sit there and buy things just to have them as they come out. Like, I like to buy them for a good price and enjoy them. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But if that's something you're interested in, I would love to make a video for you guys showing you how to do that. So then I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Superstay Foundation. I'm in the shade Porcelain. Of course I am. So I'm going to go ahead and go in, just put one pump on my flat top kabuki brush, and I am just going to go in and start stippling away. I absolutely love this foundation. I actually love it so much that this was the foundation that I wore on my wedding day. I think it's such a beautiful foundation. It lasts forever. It looks beautiful in pictures. Honestly, I don't have any bad things to say about this foundation, really. It is literally one of my favorites, and it's such full coverage. So now I'm going to take an equal favorite of mine. This is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation. It's super liquidy. Like, I don't know if you can see my cap, but it is filthy. Like, filthy, filthy. But if it's a beautiful foundation, that's all that matters. I just find that I have to store it upright because if I lay it down flat, it leaks, which is not good for a foundation of this caliber. It's a pretty pricey foundation, so you don't want to lose any of it. So I just did about a pump and a half, and I'm taking my Love is the Foundation brush from It Cosmetics, and I'm going to do the same thing, just stipple it. And what's interesting is you can see the difference between what they think is full coverage and what really is, because that Superstay Foundation is like the fullest coverage you can find at the drugstore. I kid you not. I think the only one that really matches it for me is the Revlon Color Stay. I do love that one as well, and I think it looks really beautiful. But can you tell the difference? There's not as much coverage on this side of my face. I can still see some of my freckles poking through and a couple spots of redness poking through. And on this side, it's pretty much even. So I'm going to go in with another pump of that Bare Minerals foundation and just go over the top of that and really build it up so it matches. I think that's pretty good. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'm just gonna take the Master Conceal from Maybelline on the drugstore side. I'm just gonna take a little bit at a time. I'm gonna conceal under my eye here just because we didn't get much sleep last night. We had a school project that kept us up, and I did not get to bed until almost 1 o'clock in the morning, which for Jenny is really late. I'm just gonna cover around my nose and a little bit on my chin and a little in my smile line here. So now that that's all tapped out, I'm gonna take the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer on the high-end side, and I literally almost wipe off all of the product that's on the doe foot because this is potent stuff. Like, I find that you do not need a lot to get the job done. That is all I'm putting on as far as Shape Tape goes. And I am going to take my flat top kabuki over here. I think for my nose, I'm just gonna take my finger. That's one of my tricks. I always take my finger to blend it out on my nose, just because I find that if I use a brush, then the product gets put on the brush and not on my nose. Okay. So I just want to be full disclosure, I have 2 of these travel size Eco Tools powder brushes. So I have one for the drugstore side and one for the high-end side, so no one can accuse me of cheating. I am going to go ahead and set my face now. I'm going to be taking the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder on the drugstore side. And I'm just going to set my face, the whole thing. And we will go ahead and go in. This is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I just get it in the shade Translucent Light. I just take just the smallest bit. This is a beautiful powder too. It's very comparable though to the Maybelline Fit Me. All right, next up, I'm going to be taking the NYC Smooth Skin Bronzer in Sunny on the drugstore side. I'm just gonna carve that out. I'm gonna put some on my temple up here. Perfect. I am then going to go in with the Benefit Cheek Parade palette. It just has all of their bronzers, their blushes that are really famous, all compiled into one thing. But I'm just gonna take the Hoola bronzer on the brush that came in there. I'm gonna work that right in the hollows and on the top of the forehead. Go back in, kind of make it even. Perfect. I am now going to take the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso on the drugstore side. Put that on the apples of my cheeks. I love this blush, it's such a beautiful color. And I'll take the Cheek Parade. I'm gonna take the Dandelion shade and mix it just a little bit with California and put it on the high-end side. That's beautiful. Such pretty colors. Now for a highlight. This one is, I mean, they're comparable in color, but I do think you'll probably see a difference. On the high-end side, I have the Ofra highlighter in Glazed Donut. Isn't that just like the cutest thing ever? Glazed donut. Like, who doesn't want a glazed donut on their face? I'm gonna tap off the excess, and I'm just gonna pop that right on the cheekbone and pull it all the way up. This highlighter is potent stuff. I mean potent too. I'm gonna then take the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Illuminating Palette in Catwalk Pink. And I think this shade and this shade on the 2 ends, mix them together, and I think that's gonna give us a very comparable shade to the Glazed Donut. Like I said, Wet n Wild has some good stuff, but I just don't know if it's going to match the Ofra one. It's not bad. It's so there's drugstore. There's high end. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my brows. I'm just gonna use the e.l.f. brow pencil on the drugstore side. And then I'm gonna take the Benefit Goof Proof brow pencil in the shade Taupe. Actually, no, I think it's in the number 2 shade. It's very comparable. It is a taupe shade. Whatever, you know, they have weird weird names. Looks pretty even to me. And now for the fun part. I am going to be doing a similar eye look. I'm going to be using the Lorac Unzipped Gold palette for the high-end side. And I'm just going to go in with the shade Undeniable. Ooh, almost made a grave error there. I'm so used to going in on my left eye because that's the eye I usually do first. And then I'm just going to darken it up in the crease by putting this unedited. Put that right in the outer corner. I always forget how much this shade runs purple. I mean, it's a beautiful shade. I'm just going to carry that on to the lower lash line just a bit, just so we're all melted together there in harmony. And then I am going to put this Unlimited shade and mix it with the Unleashed shade and put that all over my eyelid. It is a beautiful gold. And we're gonna do something very similar with it on the opposite side. Well, not with this one, but you know what I mean. Perfect. I'm gonna go back in with the Unwind shade just to deepen it in the crease. And then I am going to take the shade Unlocked and just put that in my brow bone, just so we have one cohesive look here. So I'm now going to take the Morphe 25A palette. I believe it had something to do with coffee, but I can't remember exactly what the name is, but it is the 25A palette. And I'm gonna create a very, very similar look on the opposite side. Tap off the excess and go in. Gosh, I always forget how pigmented Morphe is. I know, there's a lot of beauty YouTubers that are all on the Morphe bandwagon, but I'm telling you guys, it is for a reason. They have wonderful products and they are relatively really good in price, especially now that they're sold at Ulta. Like before you had to like go onto the Morphe website, and now you don't even have to do that. Now you can just go to your local Ulta and pick it up, or go on the Ulta website and pick it up. Like, I'm sold. I love these products. All right, I am working mainly with this third row, so that was this shade right here. I'm now gonna go into the shade next to it and also mix it just a bit with this bottom shade, and I'm really gonna tap off the excess because these things are pigmented, baby. Oh, so beautiful. I'm gonna carry that on to the lower lash line. Then I am going to take this middle gold shade and mix just a hair of the shade next to it in there with it. It might not be quite the same gold, but we can make it work. We can make it work. Do you see how much darker it is? I'm gonna go in with that very first shade just to kind of lighten it up just a tad. And then I'm gonna go in with the Unleashed and really darken that up. So they're not exactly the same, but for a dupe, pretty close. Okay, sorry, I had to go wash my hands. Now we're back. I'm gonna go back in just a little bit with that darker shade just to kind of darken up the crease and blend these bad boys together. I'm gonna take my blender brush from Wet n Wild, and then I'm gonna blend this guy. Really make these looks as cohesive. And last but not least, we're gonna go in with this shade at the very top right here in the second row and pop that on the brow bone and in the inner corner. I think they look pretty comparable. You can tell one side is a little bit lighter than the other. Maybe we can try and match that like this. Oh yeah. So even though they're similar in tones, I don't think they're exact dupes if you're looking for like exact dupe colors. But I think it got pretty dang close. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna line our eyes and put some mascara on and do our lips. So I'm going to go in on the high-end side with the Marc Jacobs eyeliner. It's just the Highliner Gel Crayon. And I'm just going to put that in my waterline. And this is just in the shade, oh, it's called Blacure, because Marc Jacobs is fancy. It's definitely nowhere near as pigmented as my e.l.f. eyeliner is. And I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. eyeliner, just the active. And for the drugstore side, I'm just going to be using the Lash Blast Volume because it's my fave. So we went in with the Lash Blast Volume on the drugstore side. Now I am going to go ahead and finish this up on the other side with the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara. You guys, this mascara gives me life. I love this mascara. Is it worth the $25 that it costs? Probably not, but I am telling you, if you use this, you do not need false lashes. I have not heard a single person complain about this. It is phenomenal. I love it. You'll see. By the time we build this up at the end, you're just gonna be like, dang, I need to go out there and get this. That is just one coat. We're gonna go back in on the drugstore side and do our Lash Blast one more time on here. And back again with the Monsieur. I swear, it just defines your lashes so well and makes them look so full and so big without being like super clumpy or anything. I live. It's so good. So to finish things off, I'm going to be taking the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade, I think it's Bustier. I'm not French, so I'm really bad at pronouncing all these French names. These are not exact dupes, but I thought this is the closest that I can find, and I'll tell you what I mean in just a second here. I am going to be taking Fresco. It's a Stila Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in the shade Fresco on the high-end side. Like I said, they're not exact dupes, but they're pretty darn similar in tone. If you're into those like muted colors, I love them, but that may just be me. All right, guys, so this is the finished look. This is all our high-end side. I think it turned out really beautiful. That highlighter is gorgeous. I love the Ofra highlighters. But I think you can, like I said, you can get a very comparable look using drugstore makeup. This is the drugstore side. And I think, like I said, it works out both ways. You can do awesome, awesome things. You don't have to have high-end products to make an awesome look. I think that high-end products sometimes can get a little overrated and the drugstore can get a little underrated. There's some great, great products out there. And if you're just beginning and you don't want to spend a lot of money on high-end products just yet, these are some great dupes and some great tools that you can use in place of getting those high-end products until you feel comfortable spending that kind of money on those products. I hope you liked today's video, guys, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and also please leave a comment down below of what you'd like to see next. Thanks. Bye, guys.